Hello, this is your host Lakota Ravoc, and welcome back to the world of TIMBERBORN. Now, last episode, we created this little marvel, which is our small industrial center. And today we're going to expand on that a little bit, as well as designing out a new length for this bad water to run so we can increase our power supply. We're going to also unlock the sluice gates, and we're going to fix this dam up so that way it'll automatically change whenever we have a bad tide approaching. So we're also going to build out our reservoir. With this, we'll be able to collect a larger amount of water and make sure the area stays nice and green. And in conjunction with that, we're going to start siphoning out some bad water from this spot. So that way we can start building our dynamite and make that reservoir a little larger, as well as some other quality of life. So let's go on this adventure together. Thank you for joining me. So let's start off with the fact that we've been running these observatories for a while now, and we've been collecting a lot of science. So we nearly have 43,000 science to our name. That's fantastic. We'll be able to unlock lots of different things. The first thing we're going to unlock is this contamination barrier, because we're going to want to start putting those down in places that actually show contamination. We're also going to unlock all three of our little dynamites here, so we can get ready to clear out that reservoir area so we can have a much bigger amount of water. We're also going to unlock our medium tanks and our large tanks, and then start unlocking some of these quality of life items. Let's also unlock our bulletin bowl because we're going to want to put that near the houses. So we worked our way down to just under 31,000 science. Last thing we're going to do right now is just get the farmer monument so that we can place it down and give our beavers a little more happiness. And we're actually going to drop that right here near the houses. That way, when they're sleeping, they'll get that buff instantly and it'll build up. Now, one of the other things we need right now is the bad water pump. So we're going to unlock that and place that down right here over the bad water source. Now, previously, you couldn't actually put it over the source, so you had to work around it. And in Update 6, they made it so that the spouts from the water siphons were able to go over things, and you can actually place dynamite underneath them now, so you don't have to destroy them and put them back in. So it's really helpful. The fact that we can put these two bad water pumps right here over the bad water source makes it extremely handy. The other thing we're going to need is a way down, so let's go ahead and build a pathway down for them. And we're going to drop a medium tank right here in this corner and designate that specifically for bad water. This way our explosive factory can change the bad water into dynamite. And with that up and running soon, we'll be able to destroy all the blocks inside our reservoir. And with our new oak forest, we're getting lots of lumber. And because we're getting a lot of pine resin, we're going to unpause the wood workshop so that they can start making some treated lumber. That means we're also going to have to unpause this underground pile. Let them build that so we can start storing all that treated lumber. Right now, what I'm going to do is unpause all these levees so we can start working on this reservoir. We've already got the path laid out for that, so they should be able to get up there and start building it. It's just going to take them a little time because they have to go up a lot of flights to get there. So we may change the staircase so it can reach the top. A little extra work, but it'll make it easier for them to get there and probably a shorter route.
A few moments later.
And there we have it, our new stairway up to the reservoir. So that should make things a little bit easier for them. Let's adjust the priority of all these things so they'll get working on them really soon. And while we're at it, we're going to add an extension to this so we can add more powered buildings. The nice thing is the overhangs will actually go over all the power connections. So we've got the start of our platforms here. We have a little bridge right there just so they can get across and they can build this tower underneath so we can lay some more platforms out and extend that across all the way. Now it's February 11th. At the time of this recording, they had announced the week prior that they already have Update 7 up on their beta. So people can test it on the public branch. So I'm thinking about going in there and trying out some of the new features they have, including terrain manipulation, which is one of my favorite things. So you can literally dig up the terrain, place it somewhere else, including on overhangs, and you can make overhanging gardens and forestry areas. It's kind of interesting. You can literally make a cave for your beavers and surround them and then grow everything around them. It's kind of nice. But as they're building some of this stuff, I just want to thank you for coming down. Please make sure you subscribe to the channel, turn on your notifications, make sure you give the video a like, and also make sure you give me a comment. Let me know how I'm doing. I really want to hear your feedback. They've already started working on the reservoir, which is great. As soon as we get our first drought, we will change these triple floodgates and we will put down sluice gates instead, allowing us to automate the open and close process for this channel dam so that we can get rid of the bad water whenever it comes without ever having to touch the triple floodgates. We're going to add some more storage here as well. Let us put down some more of these medium warehouses and get them ready. We're going to build a path spiraling up here and change these for additional foods. There we have a nice little spiraling staircase. This allows them to get to each tier. So we already have blueberries, carrots, sunflower seeds, and baked potatoes. Next in the food chain is going to be grilled chestnuts and grilled spatterdock. We'll put bread on the next level, along with the cattail crackers, and finally maple pastries. And then we'll add another storage for more blueberries in case we need a backup. But with the food as it is now, we are doing really well. We have over 200 of each one, except for the grilled chestnuts because they just started producing those. And as higher tiers of food come, the beavers will be more likely to eat those higher tiers of food first and then work their way down. Speaking of blueberries, we're going to destroy these two and place down a couple contamination barriers to help protect the others. Now, ironically, you have to put them on the tiers. Bad water doesn't care about height. It'll go down regardless. And we're going to put them underneath the waterfall here. That will hopefully help the contamination a little bit more. And we're also going to get rid of this last row of potatoes.
Potatoes! Boil them, mash them, stick them in a stew.
Now to get here, we may have to destroy some blueberries just to get over there because they can't reach those potatoes. So let's get rid of a small strip here. And we'll make a road going down and a bridge across. And we have to get rid of these dead ones anyways if we want new growth. I'm also going to destroy these two medical tents and place more here, closer to the wall with a platform. That way we have more beds for beavers who are injured. All right, they got the treated plank storage already built. That's progress. And once they come up here and build these stairs and those two bad water pumps, we'll be able to start collecting bad water and start making our dynamite. Another thing we'll be able to do is also add to this tower and get more storage for parts and supplies that we need. But I'm not in a big rush on that right now. And luckily we have that drought approaching that we're looking for. So we'll be able to change our reservoir dam within the next 3 days and get those sluice gates up and going. We'll high prioritize those once we see it. What we will do is slowly drop the water level in the reservoir. This way, when it shows up, we won't have as much water and it won't spill out. I think I'm going to also high prioritize this mess of stairs. So they get building on that and they have a shorter distance to go. These stairs will most likely be temporary and we'll get rid of those once the reservoir is built. Or we'll keep it because once we can start dynamiting all this extra terrain out, we'll be able to put some large water pumps in this area and be able to collect a lot more water. While we're waiting, we're going to unlock our grist mill because we're going to need power for those. That way we can get flour once we have the upper industrial area built. We'll unlock our bakery because we're going to want to start making bread, cattail crackers, and maple pastries as soon as we can. And we're going to also unlock our beehive because we are starting to produce paper now. So we'll start putting beehives where we're growing crops. Now, unfortunately, this does injure some beavers, but in the long run, it's going to make the production of food much quicker. Another thing we're going to need is to figure out a place for the wheat fields. I still haven't decided on what I want to do for that. But considering we have a large area up here that has green, I have been thinking about making a reservoir that goes across and bringing water over here. And this way we can make this area nice and green. But I wanted to use this for my entertainment district, so I'm not too sure about that yet. The other thing we can do is use this area down here, which has a lot of open space. The downfall is I am going to be bringing a channel across and dumping bad water off the map. All right, our drought has started. Let's get to building this. We're going to slow the beavers down. Let's drop that water. Now we're probably going to flood them, which will be temporary. We're going to start destroying these triple floodgates. And we're going to destroy these 3 blocks right here. Let's unlock that sluice gate real quick. I'm going to place those right there. Give them a very high priority. I'm going to drop these sluice gates down here near the bottom. Oh, we can't. Why is that? Interesting. It won't let me put it at the edge of the map. So we will have to fabricate a way to do this. More levees, sluice gates there, some levees on top. We will put some levees here, allow them to get across. We're going to destroy all these levees and floodgates here. Some levees there on the main area, and put our sluice gates at the top. Let's high prioritize everything here. With the sluice gates getting rid of the bad water, we're going to want them to close below contamination of like 2%. With the floodgates going into our river, we're going to want them to close above contamination of 2%. And with our reservoir sluice gates, we're going to want them to close above a downstream depth of 3.5. I think it's probably pretty good. So the reservoir is going to stop at about halfway above this line on the levee. So it's not going to be completely full. That will reduce the chance of an overflow. And then it'll also close above contamination of 2% as well. So it won't let any bad water into our reservoir. And when the bad water comes, if the contamination is 2% or more, these sluice gates at the front will close and the sluice gates going out the back will open. If I've done everything right, that should be how it works. We've got 6 more days in our drought to make sure this gets built. There's not a lot to do, but we high prioritized it, so it should get done pretty quick. Hey, and they cleared out those potatoes somehow. I thought they couldn't reach them. So let's go ahead and drop contamination barriers right there. And we can get rid of this bridge because we don't need that. And something else we can do now is destroy this bridge because it's kind of redundant. The fact that they're going to have blocks they can walk over. We'll just path across that. And they should pick up those logs and planks at any time.
A little longer than a few minutes later.
All right, our drought has ended. They unfortunately have not been able to finish the repairs, but that's okay. Water's going to come down here, fill up our channel. They're almost done with the sluice gates at the back. That means those will be closed up. Once those are closed up, all the water will get diverted out one direction. Just been thinking, I might take these 2 levees out of the back and put normal dam pieces there as an overflow in case we do happen to get a surge. So I think I'm going to do that. Now, just in case we have an overflow of water, it will bleed out the back, but the sluice gates will still take care of the bad water. I've also temporarily shut off these sluice gates so that they can't open up until our reservoir is completed. And they've already stockpiled some treated planks, so that's great. We're going to need a lot of those for the future. The beavers have also been grilling some spatterdock, so the quality of life has been improved a little bit. We have an average well-being of 17. That means our beavers are not going hungry. They're not going thirsty. They're getting plenty of sleep. They're getting a lot of nutrition. Once we get the bread, the crackers, and the pastries done, those points will increase significantly. We need to start building some other things like for a social life, including the rooftop terrace and a contemplation spot. Those will jump their well-being up dramatically, and we'll be able to get a longer living beaver.
What?
We also need to drop down a couple bulletin poles so that way they can read the daily news. And we probably want to get a detailer and a Lido as well. They have some fun things to do. Let's start placing some of those things down. Start with our bulletin pole. That's a pretty large reach, so we're going to want one on either side of the houses. And they do go underneath platforms, so that's very handy. Go ahead and drop some contemplation spots up here over the overlook. So that way they get a nice view while they're thinking about whatever it is. Now, I know it's a bit of a trek, but we're going to drop some showers right over here to get that wet fur bonus. And we might utilize this lake over here for our Lido decks. This way, while they're swimming, they get a nice view of the trees. And there's a lot of water, so we'll be able to expand this if we ever want to make more. Okay, we got our 2 sluice gates here at the waterfall. So that's drawing water down into our river. Now, to be honest, I should have put sluice gates underneath where these 2 levees are, about 3 blocks down. So that way, if the water got a little low in the river, it would automatically dump water in. I can change that up on another drought on the sides if I wanted to, but I'm not going to worry about it too much right now. They do have plenty of water in this river. And once we stop pumping down here, that's going to keep more water in the river. So it should make it go a little bit longer during a drought. Okay, they got the dams in place as well, so we have our overflow in case we do get a surge. But with the fact that sluice gates drop water about half a block down, shouldn't be a problem. It's just a backup. Now that we've got this dam automated, we don't ever have to worry about the bad tide again. And I'd say we're about a quarter of the way done on a reservoir, maybe a third of the way because there's a lot of blocks to put in, but they're making quick work of it. So let's play a little bit of music for you guys while they build this reservoir up. It's going to be a little bit of work, so we'll see you in a little while. have it. All built, ready to be filled. Let's go ahead and put some water in it. Just automate that sluice gate and water should start filling it up. There we go. That's our nice new fully functional reservoir, allowing the whole area below to be nice and green and never having to worry about our water problems again. We're just going to get a lumberjack up here and some stairs. We're going to cut down all the trees that are existing so that when we get ready to dynamite, it'll all be ready for us. Now, in the meantime, while we were waiting for that to be built, I heard the ding go off a couple of times, so our well-being went up to 21. And we will look at one of these beavers here. His hunger, thirst, sleep, and shelter needs are being met. He's got 5 of the 8 food types being eaten. Hasn't seen the campfire in a while, unfortunately. But with the shrubs, lantern, roof, the scarecrow, and the beaver statue nearby, he's getting a lot of points from those. And once those bulletin poles get built, that'll add to that. And with our farmer monument built, all these houses below are getting that farmer monument need when they're asleep. These guys are getting a great quality of life right now. They have a plus 60% working speed, they have a 15% moving speed, and an additional 40% life expectancy. So they're going to live a little bit longer, work a lot harder, move a little bit faster. Really nice. All we need is one more point and they'll go to a 30% movement speed, which will probably happen pretty soon. We've got a lot of things in the works, including that bulletin pole, which will improve their well-being. As you can see, they've already started working on the platforms over here so we can get the second tier of industrial center working. We've got our bad water pumps pumping out that nasty, nasty water, and it's being stored up so we can now unpause our explosives factory. And we can start making those explosives so we can clear out our reservoir from all that dirt. They've got some of those medical tents built, and they're starting to work on those platforms to increase our storage capacity for our food. And to recap with the automation of our channel dam over here with these sluice gates, we'll never have to worry about adjusting anything for bad tides ever again. We probably will, on the next drought, take some of these levees out and replace them and add some sluice gates at the bottom so that way when there is a drought, it can automatically add water to the river below when it hits a certain depth. So that'll keep a constant flow of water into that river. And once we get the reservoir dynamited out, we'll add these large water pumps, which need those treated planks, which we've thankfully been making. So we'll put some platforms down and drop those large water pumps in our reservoir over here, so that way we can constantly bring water in. And then we'll eventually replace some of these small water tanks with the large ones, which I'm thinking might go over here because we have a nice large space for those, or on top of this mesa where the food storage is, because they're going to want to go to those contemplation spots as well, so they can get some water here. And I've got enough space for that. And another spot would be right down here, right near city center. This would give them plenty of room for some water. We could add some platforms here behind the builder's hut and the hauling post and get ourselves a nice large area space for these large water tanks. I'm going to let these guys continue building what we laid out for them today. I think on the next one, we'll go ahead and design that channel for the bad water to extend our power network. We'll lay down some more of the powered buildings on the upper platform area that needs to be finished right now. And we'll get the large water pumps and large water storage laid down. And that way we never have to worry about water again. But so far, I think that's pretty successful. I want to thank you guys for coming down. Make sure you subscribe, turn on your notifications, drop a like, and give me a comment. Let me know how I'm doing. I think for now, this is going to be Lakota Ravoc signing off. Thank you again. I appreciate you. And y'all have a good day. Bye-bye.
Dada.
What was that?
Iku dada. Iku dada.
You're welcome, buddy.